The things that come to mind, I think sound definitely comes to mind. I don't think visually we're there yet. Maybe like with once Sora has a wider release, you'll start seeing establishing shots. Those big those kinds of shots or landscapes or something like that. Why would you fly a crew somewhere and have pay for all of that when it's literally just a 2-second shot that sets it up? That I think that'll be more AI generated. I don't think people are going to be using Chat GPT to write a feature film yet. I mean, I kind of hope not.
It's
So
not
I don't
funny
think
yet.
that's
I haven't seen any, and that's something I've brought up for the last several months. Is I haven't seen it produce any good jokes yet that really hit
mm,
for me as a person. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys have. Maybe you guys have.
You have to work
no.
really, really hard. I actually used to teach comedy. I was the president of a stand-up club at my university, and I taught comedy. So I went through some of the materials with ChatGPT to teach it comedy, and I actually had it writing pretty decent 2-3 minute stand-up routines. You think about something like Jay Leno's opening monologue from The Tonight Show a million and a half years ago, that sort of thing, have it riff on a particular topic. But after a while, you would see that it would still come through with some of those, I call them GPT-isms, right? So it's those particular words and things that it likes to repeat over and over and over again, even when you tell it not to. And so, it would go through some of that. I'd be interested to see what it does now with much larger context windows and RAG and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, you got to put in a lot of work to get it to the point where it's going to actually say something that even is mildly funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it seems like everything that I've seen, even when people are kind of trying to prompt it in the right direction, it just feels cold. Um, it doesn't feel comedic like that. Like I brought up to MetaPuppet, maybe it's the delivery that's off, and that's my problem, or the way it's written, I feel is so important, and that's another recurring theme that keeps coming back is so many people are using these tools, but it always comes back to the written story to make something really, that touches humans in a way that captures emotion and gets their attention and makes them stick to reading something or finish a piece of content. And it's interesting. I'd love to know, anybody that's here on the panel, what are you guys seeing AI wise that is really outputting written content in a way that may be beneficial, or do you all feel like that's something that it can't reproduce at the moment, or it can't produce something that competes with a human output? And I'm just going to open it up, whoever wants to answer that.
It's good for rough drafts, but
Yeah.
you need a person to rewrite it. That's my whole take on it, I suppose.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's really interesting because a lot of people, obviously using this platform, you could have access to Grok. Made it available, and it definitely has its wonkiness and is not as powerful, if you want to call it that, as just straight up ChatGPT. Even Mixtral it has some really good sort of conversational approaches, but there's a back end of Grok that they're working on. I was able to get access to it a while ago, so it's like the desktop version of it, and it definitely has some capabilities conversationally that I think that people are going to be really surprised with once it starts getting some legs underneath it. I mean, Elon just got like I think $6 or $8 billion valuation
Yeah.
set up. So so there's gonna be some
18. I saw he raised 6 and
right.
an 18 billion
Oh yeah,
valuation.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So there's gonna be some money going in that. So we'll see what happens. But obviously, because Grok has been trained with the content that's on the platform, right? So there's a lot of there's a lot of shit posting, but there's a lot of like funny people on here
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
So
right. A lot
yeah,
of
so there's
comedians that they're
yeah,
taking.
right. Or comedians in training, right? Whatever. So like that. So it's just really exciting because I think people are going to be pretty surprised when that thing kind of rolls out, and it's just like really like Corey said about like kind of training it to kind of get it up and running. Once you kind of get that going, I think it'll be really cool to see how that kind of affects the landscape. But that's just something that's in the background.